and all. So new day. So we'll be starting with new topic, that is bank reconciliation statement, or for our class purpose we will call it as BRS. Bank reconciliation statement, BRS. So before we get to it, let's have a few things. One, what are the functions of a bank, sir? What do you think bank does? Bank main function is to accept deposits and to give away loans. That is their primary function. Other than that, they also do a hell lot of things like money transfer. If you have to transfer money from one person to another, you can go to the bank and get it done. So banks can help you with money transfer. Okay, that's one. And if you want to store your valuables like jewelry or whatever in important files, you can bank also give these days locker facility. Obviously, they will charge a nominal amount known as locker rent for all this. Also, you can make some payments like insurance, etc., etc. Any payment if you have to take, banks can make that payment on your behalf. So those services also generally banks give. Okay, this is just not that important. It is there in the book, so I've just brought it in. All right. So the main funda or the thing that is relevant for us now is one, bank passbook. I think many of you have accounts, bank accounts. So you must be, whenever you open bank account, any savings bank, banks will issue one book that we refer to as bank passbook. So what is that bank passbook? What it will contain, sir? Those of you at least who have opened the bank accounts, all the transactions. Normally, what transactions do you do primarily with the bank? Depositing the money and withdrawals. That is the primary transaction. Along with that, if you're doing whatever transaction, all that transaction will be updated in that particular book. That book we refer to as passbook. Who maintains that? We maintain it or bank maintain it? Banks give you that. Yes or no? So if you want those entries, who will update the entry? You will write that entry in passbook or bank writes it? Bank updates those entry and give it to you. Yes or no? All right. Bank passbook means just like we maintain bank account ka ledger. Yes, in our accounting record, we maintain cash account as well as we maintain bank account. Yes, correct. So just like in our accounting ledger, we have bank account. Similarly, bank will also maintain our account. Just like we maintain bank account in our accounting records, bank will maintain our account in their ledger. That we refer to as passbook. It is basically a copy of customer account as per whose books? Our books or bank's record? Bank's record. Is this okay? Just like we have bank account, the banks will maintain our account. This is okay because there will be thousands and thousands of customers. No, so if you open an account with bank will maintain your account. Is that okay? You will also maintain in your books. You will maintain bank account. In bank book, bank will maintain your account. That your account we refer to as here as passbook. First observation clear? So passbook means what, sir? It is simply a copy of customer account as per whose book? Your books or bank books? Bank books. That's the first observation. Are we okay? All right. And in this passbook, all the transactions will be updated. Generally, the transaction will be in the form of deposits and withdrawal. Primarily, the transaction will only be this. Okay. All these will be entered in the passbook. Whether you deposit the money, withdraw the money, or whatever you do, all sort of transaction will come into this particular record. Fair enough? Okay, all right. Now, 1 second. X Limited and Y Limited. There are two companies. X Limited and Y Limited. Let's say X Limited sold goods worth 1 lakh to Y Limited on a credit basis. Okay, X Limited sold goods worth 1 lakh to Y Limited on a credit basis. What is the journal entry X Limited will pass? In X Limited books, what journal entry will come? X has sold the goods to Y Limited. So what is the journal entry? In X Limited books, the journal entry they will pass is Y Limited account debit to sales account 1 lakh, 1 lakh. Agreed? So far okay? Fair enough? This is in whose books? X Limited books. Okay? So if X Limited has sold means Y Limited has purchased. Sale for one person is a purchase for another person. So what this purchase is made on a cash basis or on a credit basis? If for X Limited, if it is a credit sale, for Y Limited, it is a credit purchase. What is the journal entry for credit purchase? Purchases account debit 1 lakh to what? X Limited 1. Are we okay? So far good? Now what am I trying to say here? Observe the screen for a minute. X Limited, what did they do for Y Limited? Did they debit the account or credit the account? X Limited, what did they do for Y Limited? Y Limited ka ledger, they debited or credited? They debited. Okay. Now check here. Y Limited books mein, what did they do for X Limited? Did they debit or did they credit? Credit. That means what? Debit for one person will be equal to credit for another person. Agree or no? If it is an expense for one person, for the other person it will be an income. Like you have paid us the coaching fees. For you it is an expense, but for us it is an income. For you expenses have debit balance because nominal account rule says expenses should be debited. But for us the same is an income and it will have a credit balance. Yes or no? Same value, but you are debiting and we are crediting. That's how the accounting works. All of you clear with this so far? Any questions? No? Now why am I trying to say this? Check this sentence. Do you appreciate this? If it is debit balance as per cash book, then it will be credit balance as per passbook. This is important. What have I written here? If it is debit balance as per cash book, then it will be credit as per passbook. If it is credit balance as per cash book, then it will be debit as per passbook. So what is this? Cash book means you have already done cash book ka chapter. There are 3 types of cash book we prepared. What are those? Simple cash book or single column cash book, double column cash book, triple column cash book. Yes or no? In triple column cash book, what are the columns, sir? What are the things we maintain? Discount, cash, bank. Yes. All right. Cash book means bank account ka ledger. Cash book here refers to what? Whenever you see the term cash book, cash here means, cash book means company ka records. Company ka not cash account. Company ka which account? Bank account. Is that okay? Instead of saying bank account, they use the term cash book in your problem. Is it okay? Everyone understood? Cash book means what? Bank account ka ledger as per whom? As per the bank or as per us? As per our records, what is the bank account? That is what we call it as cash book. Comfortable? Yes. In our record mein, if cash book is having debit balance means bank will also maintain our account. If we are showing it as debit balance means even bank will show it as debit. Now just now I showed it to you. If one person is debiting means other person will be crediting. Yes or no? So if cash book is showing a debit balance means then passbook will show credit balance. Understood? Because passbook is as per our records, is as per bank records. Passbook is as per the bank records. Cash book is as per our records. Our records means the business records. Hence, debit here will be credit there. Credit here means will be debit there. That's the correlation. Any confusion till here? No? All okay? Okay, let's have a quick recap then. What did we cover, sir? We only touched upon 2 things. We first touched upon passbook. What does passbook mean? Passbook means our records or bank ka records? Bank ka records. So just like we maintain bank account in our accounting records, bank will also maintain our records. Okay, that is called as passbook. This is okay. That's one. And do you think cash book and passbook will have a similar balance or it will be opposite, inverse relationship? Ulta relationship. If cash book has a debit balance means then passbook should have a credit balance, because for debit for one person means it will be a credit for another person. Similarly, if cash book has credit balance means passbook will have a debit balance. And when we say cash book, it is as per bank records or is it as per our records? Our records. And cash book here refers to discount column, cash column or bank column. When we say cash book here, it refers to the bank column of the cash book. Are we okay? All right. So that's all we kind of went through so far. Done? All right. Now, what is this bank reconciliation statement? So to reconcile something means to match. To match, if you're doing some matching activity. Okay, normally your elders do know. husband, wife and all they do, no? Like the matching they do. Like that, here we are trying to match two things. That matching activity, we call it as what? Bank reconciliation statement. So to match something, you need two components. Here, we are trying to reconcile cash book with passbook. We are trying to match what? Cash book with passbook. Cash book is as per our records. Passbook is as per the records of the bank. So these two records will not match. It will not, if ideally it should match, but practically they don't match. There will be certain differences. That difference is a matching activity. We call it as what? Bank reconciliation statement. Okay, this is one of the most important one. In fact, whenever you go for any client audit means checking. That's all is basically auditing. Okay, so whenever you have to check bank verification, you have to do. One of the common things we ask every client is give me BRS. BRS generally is prepared on a month-on-month basis. It's not that it has to be done monthly. It could be done quarterly also, fortnightly also, yearly also, quarterly also, whatever. But generally, we do BRS on a month-on-month basis. And this we generally do ask the client to give. So it is practically relevant topic. Okay. All right. So what is BRS, sir? Once again, BRS is nothing but BRS full form is Bank Reconciliation Statement. BRS is nothing but reconciling what? Cash book with passbook. And which column of cash book are we talking about here? Bank column of the cash book we are matching with passbook. That matching activity we call it as BRS. Done. Company. BRS is done by us, the company, the owners of business does this. Okay. Who in the company? Accountant. Who in the accountant? I don't know. Okay. All right. Now, why is this BRS required? See, BRS is a matching activity. If something is already matching, is BRS required? Something is, let's say, cash book is also showing a balance of 1 lakh. Passbook is also showing a balance of 1 lakh. Is matching activity required or it's already matched? It's already matched. So in this case, do we need BRS or no BRS required? If it already reconciles means, or if it's already matching means, BRS is not required. BRS is only required if cash book balance and passbook balance does not match, meaning there is a difference. Are we okay? Which 99.99% of the case, cash book balance and passbook balance will not match. Cash book and passbook balance will not match 99.99%. Very remote cases may it will tie out. So BRS more or less will become a compulsory activity. Now the next question running in your mind is what? Sir, why will it be a difference? Yes, no? Because see, if I deposit 1 lakh rupees into bank account, I will pass the journal entry for what value? 1 lakh. Bank also will pass the journal entry for 1,50,000 or 1 lakh only? 1 lakh. Yeah, I may be debiting it, but they will credit. But will the amount differ or same amount? Same amount, no. That means ideally 99.99% of the cases or 100% of the cases it should match. Yes or no? But why did I say it will not match? Can you think of something? Why cash book and passbook? Why did I make that statement? Cash book and passbook balance will mostly not match. Can you give some of the examples why it will not match? That's all is BRS. Go on. Mistake. Okay, she's saying if you do some mistakes in cash book, just cash book means what, sir? Bank records or our records? Our records. Just because we do some mistake, does it mean bank also should do the same mistake? No. Just because you did one problem incorrectly, your friend also should do the same problem incorrectly. Oh, not required. Yes, no? All right. So that could be one of the reasons. Yes, there could be some errors in cash book, but that error may not be available in passbook. Because of that, your cash book and passbook may not match. Sometimes bank will not enter these transactions. Okay, somebody is saying in online few things. Forgot to pass the entry in cash book. Okay, that is an error. So yes, somebody is saying we have forgotten the entries. Okay, great. All right. Somebody was saying, huh? Time difference. Perfect. All right. All what you are saying is right only. There will be many circumstances under which your cash book and passbook balance will not match. The reasons for that is, or the causes of the difference, if you want to categorize, you can put them into 3 categories. One is the timing difference. Another one is the transaction difference. Last one is the error. Because of these 3, your cash book and passbook will not match. What did I say? Timing, temporary, errors. Okay, and let's understand each one of them. Then we will do it. Don't worry. We have around 20 problems. Same thing we'll be doing in all the problems. First, we will have a little background. Why is it necessary? What is that we'll be doing? Then we will go ahead and apply it. Okay, let me give you an example here. Let's say the company name is A Limited. The business ka name is A Limited. Okay. I'm able to see. Okay, leave the names. It's okay. Let's say bank account balance as per cash book is 1 lakh rupees. We started, A Limited started the business with how much money, sir? I've assumed 1 lakh rupees. Is that okay? So you have introduced this capital in the form of check. What is the journal entry for capital introduced? What is the journal entry for capital introduced in the form of banking channel? Bank account debit to capital. All. So that means how much value? 1 lakh. So that means as per cash book, bank account is having a debit balance or credit balance? Debit balance, because the journal entry is bank account debit to capital account 1 lakh 1. Are we okay? All right. So this is as per whose record? Company ka records or bank record? Company ka records. That only we call it as what? CB. CB as in cash book. Okay. Let's say passbook also had a balance of 1 lakh only initially. Is that okay? So if cash book has a debit balance, means passbook will have what balance? Passbook will have a balance of 1 lakh credit. So far okay? You started the business. So cash book is having a debit balance of 1 lakh and passbook is having a debit balance or credit balance of 1 lakh. Is there any difference or matching out? Matching. If it is matching, Brs required or not required? Not required. Now let me take a small example. Let's say I'm able to see some Abhishek over there. A Limited, no. They issued a check to Abhishek. A Limited purchased some goods from Abhishek for which they gave money. Let's say they gave 10,000 rupees money in the form of check. A Limited gave the check to Abhishek, or let me not use Abhishek. Here it will be someone else with other name. Anyone with other alphabets? What's your name? Nikhil. Okay. All right. Next time I'll use it. Okay. Let's say A Limited has issued a check to Nikita or Nikhil, whatever. Okay, Nikhil, okay. Let's say A Limited has issued a check to Nikhil for 10,000 rupees. All right. What is the journal entry A Limited will pass here, sir? Yeah, this is where you should talk. I'll write. A Limited has given check to Nikhil for 10,000 rupees. What is the journal entry? Nikhil account debit 10,000 to what? To bank account 10,000 rupees. Are we okay, sir? All right. Now check. Let's say this check was issued on 29th of April 2023. I've issued the check on this particular day to Nikhil. Now, can you tell me what is the cash book balance? Let's say on 1st April 2023, cash book had a balance of 1 lakh. On 29th April 2023, we have issued a check of 10,000 rupees to Nikhil. Now, what is the final balance of bank? Can you tell me? How much is this? Is it still 1 lakh? No. See, bank had a debit balance of 1 lakh before. Now, have you debited bank or have you credited bank? Credit. That means the bank balance will increase or it will reduce? Reduce. That means will it be 1 lakh or it will reduce by 10? It will reduce by 10 and it has become how much? 80,000. As on which date? As the end of the month. Let's say 30th April 2023. Are we okay? So far okay, fine people. We are doing it for 1 month activity. Done? Okay. Now check. Passbook balance on 1st April 2023 is also how much? 1 lakh. Let's say Nikhil, no. He's attending Papa accounts class, no. Busy guy. After that, he's going home and revising also. No time. I gave him what now? I gave him cash or I gave him check? Check. Check, will it get automatically cleared or he has to deposit that check in his bank account? He has to go to the bank and deposit that check. Yes, no? But unfortunately or fortunately, he is busy. Okay? He went and deposited that check only on 10th May 2023. He deposited that check when? 10th May 2023. Sir, when did I give him the check? 29th April. Did he deposit it on the same day or there is any delay? There's a delay. He deposited only on which day? 10th May. That means there is a delay of about 11 days. You could roughly keep it. Is that okay? Whatever is the reason. Now you tell me, what is the passbook balance on 30th April 2023 at the end of the month? How much is passbook balance? Is it 1 lakh or is it 90,000? 1 lakh. Why? Sir, passbook means our record or bank records? Passbook means bank ka records. Alright. Bank will reduce the money from your account only if Nikhil has deposited that check. Only if they have made the payment, they will reduce the balance. Yes or no? In the month of April, has Nikhil deposited that check or yet to deposit? Yet to deposit. That means how much was there at the beginning of the month? 1 lakh. That means at the end of the month also is how much? 1 lakh. Is these two value matching now or there is a difference? There's a difference. Yes or no? Is it an error? Is it an error? No. Just that there is a delay. Yes or no? Such differences we call it as timing differences. Are we okay? There is a small delay in depositing the check. Because of this, your cash book and passbook is not matching up. So such a differences we call it as timing difference. Timing delay basically. Deposit delay you can keep it. Okay. I'll give you a minute. Just process that, and if you have any doubt, ask. I'll give you the examples for other things also. This one, has everyone got it? Thinking online is also good. Okay, awesome. All right. What is the second kind of difference I said, sir? One is the timing difference. Second one is what? Transaction difference. Okay, check here. Let's follow it up, or maybe I'll use the same example. On 1st April 2023, cash book has a debit balance. How much value, sir? 1 lakh. Let's say on the same day, 1st April 2023, passbook will have a debit balance or credit balance? Credit balance. Let's say 1 lakh only. Starting May, there is no difference. Okay, don't relate this. This example is over. I'm giving another example. Sir, if you have money at bank, will bank pay you anything on that money? If you deposit any money with the bank, will bank give you anything in return on that money? Yes, bank will give you how much? Bank will give you some interest. Maybe 3%, 4%, 10%, whatever. Generally on savings bank account, savings interest, they give about 3 to 4% interest. Alright. So bank will give you interest. Agreed? Fine. Let's say the interest amount is 1,000 rupees. Because you deposited, you have 1 lakh money in bank account. Bank is giving you how much interest? 1,000 rupees. Okay, or maybe let's make it as 10,000 for easier calculation purpose. The interest is 10,000 rupees. Now you tell me at the end of the month, let's say no other transaction is there. Okay, what is passbook balance at the end of the month? That is 30th April 2023. What is passbook balance? Is it 1 lakh or 1 lakh 10,000? It is 1 lakh 10,000 because 1 lakh you had, bank gave you an interest of 10,000. That means totally now you have in the bank account how much balance? 1 lakh 10,000. How much? What balance? Credit balance. Are we okay? So far good? Alright. Whenever bank is putting interest into your account, will they call you up? Hey dude, I'm putting 10,000 interest down. Like this, they will call you and put in the interest into your account, or all this happens straight away? Straight away. Yes or no? So that means our accountant will have any idea about this? No, because bank has done it on their own. Yes. Let's say accountant did not go to the bank that month. He was busy. Okay. That means, is he aware of this interest transaction or he is not aware? He is not aware. Only if he updates the passbook, then only he'll get to know about this interest. Yes or no? Correct? So let's say he did not go to the bank account. That means, is he aware of this interest? No. That means at the end of the month, that is 30th April 2023, what is cash book balance? Is it 1 lakh 10,000 or still 1 lakh? Still 1 lakh only. Why? Or 1 lakh, what kind of balance? Debit or credit? Debit. Why is there a difference? Because this interest, bank will not call us up and inform. It is our duty to get ourselves updated on all this. And if we don't update because of our busy schedule or whatever, then your cash book and passbook need not match. Such a difference we call it as transaction difference. There could be some transaction which could be entered in passbook, but it may not be entered in time in cash book or vice versa. Are we fine? So such a difference we call it as a transaction difference. She's saying these days I get message only. Even for 10 rupees also they send message. I get bugged many times. In today's environment, it may become outdated. But it's not necessary. Okay, alright. See, I keep on telling you, revise, study, I keep telling my mantra. How many of you are actually revising? Or how many of you are not revising? That is a better show of hands, I will. See, one person is at least honest. Okay? Yes, same goes like this. You may get the message. Just because you got the message, will accountant pass journal entry by looking at that message, or he may miss out? He may still miss. Okay? So in that case also, BRS may be required. Is that okay? Alright, awesome. Are we done? Oh, somebody is saying, give me another examples. I have paid full fees. Okay. Don't worry, we have 20 problems where you get examples and examples and examples still if you want it. Let's say you told the bank, I am busy. Pay my electricity bill. My house ka electricity bill, you told bank, you pay. There's something known as automatic clearing system. You can give a standing instructions to the bank. Okay, if you tell them my payment you make, like LIC insurance, life insurance premium, electricity bill, your phone bill, whatever payment. If you tell the bank periodically you do it, bank will do it on your behalf. Is that okay? So you told the bank, pay my electricity bill. Okay, let's say cash book balance is how much, sir? 1 lakh. Same value will take. Passbook balance at the beginning of the month is how much? 1 lakh. You have given one instruction to the bank. What instruction you have given? Pay my electricity bill. Will bank pay out of their money or they will pay out of your money only? Your money only. They will not use another customer and pay your electricity bill. No. What are they like? No. Oh, your relative or what? Yeah, obviously. So now, let's say electricity bill is 5,000 rupees. Bank paid electricity bill on your behalf. How much value? 5,000. So when 5,000 electricity bill is paid, can you now tell me what is passbook balance? Is it 1 lakh or is it 95,000? 95,000. Are we good? Again, when bank pays his electricity bill, will they call you up and say, hey, I'm paying electricity bill, can I and all? Will they ask? Directly, they'll go through with this transaction. Yes or no? Is it necessary we should be aware of this 100% or it may slip our mind? Quite possible. Yes, no. Only if you update your records, you will be aware of this transaction. Yes, no. If you have not followed up with the bank, that means cash book will still have how much balance? 1 lakh. So again, your cash book and passbook is not match. Is this okay? So such a difference we call it as a transaction difference. Because one transaction has got updated in the passbook. Has it got updated in the cash book yet? Not yet. So that we call it as a transaction difference. Alright, next one. Last is what? Errors. Errors could be available in cash book or it will be in passbook. You know, recently some bank gave heart attack to one person. They deposited, I think, 500 crores into his account. 500 crores or 1,000 crores, I'm not sure. By mistake. One day he become imagine, you get a message, 500 crore deposit into your account. Your balance before that was 500 rupees. Okay. Now you got a message, 500 crore deposited. Imagine that person, what he would have felt. Alright. And later they got to know that it was a transaction mistake. Later, obviously, they reversed it. Papa. Again, he came back to 500 only. Is that okay? So those sort of errors could be the reason why your cash book and passbook need not match. Pretty rare, but sometimes possible. Because even banks update their system on a periodic basis, right? There'll be a downtime. Due to that downtime, some very, very rare scenario some clerical errors may happen. Alright? But mostly errors will be on not mostly on the passbook side, mostly errors will be on the cash book side of things. Okay, so these are your differences. Fair enough? These differences we have to keep in mind and prepare a statement known as bank reconciliation statement. Sir, name itself is saying bank reconciliation statement. That means there is no, in statement will you have debit, credit and all? Statement is just a simple format. Statement, only accounts will have debit balances, credit balance. Statement will not have all this. Okay, it's a running format we'll prepare. Okay. Awesome. Now, let's get to the important ones. You're able to see this about 17 components. If you know this, BRS is done. Chapter over. Only 17 things. 17 line items. More or less, they ask the same thing. They kind of change the value, change the names and give it. About 17 transactions if you know. Your BRS is complete. First, let's do a thing. There are 17 components vertically, and how many components you are able to see horizontally? 4. All right. So like this, we need to, 1 minute. Check. No problem. We'll go through this. Some adjustments is there. These adjustments only they'll give you in the question. How many marks it could come? So anywhere between 5 to 10 marks. I told you, don't chapter wise, don't keep asking me what marks and all. I will tell you at the end, because I tell you the weightage now, some of you will only 5, only 10. That will demotivate. So I'll never mention marks when I'm doing the topic. Once we have done with all the topic, entire topic of weightage, I will share a file. Not only account subject, if you want it for other 4 subject also, I'll send. Okay. It is there on the ICA website only, because they have given it, not me. Is it okay? That only I will download it and send it to you. Okay. For now, chill pill. First to understand the subject. All right. What have I given? What is the first scenario I've written, sir? Favorable balance as per CB. CB means cash book. CB is cash book. PB is passbook. Sir, if you say favorable balance, that means it is a debit balance as per cash book. Favorable balance means you have money in your bank account. If you have money in your bank account, we call it as a favorable balance. So obviously, if you have money in the bank, means it is an asset or liability. Asset. Assets will have what balance? Debit balance. So either in your examination, they may give you the term debit balance as per cash book. Like that they may say. Or instead of debit, they may use the term what? Favorable balance as per cash book. Any of one of the two, generally you will find it in the examination. Either they'll call it as favorable or they'll call it as debit. Okay. All right. Now we'll go over these adjustments again. Next whatever minutes, 15-20 minutes before we get to the question. Complete attention. If you have understood this, I think we have first scenario. These are different scenario. Okay. These are case 1, case 2, case 3, and case 4. For each of the cases, we have 4 problems, 3 to 4 problems. If you have understood the case properly, whatever we are discussing, literally all these problems we can fatafat do. Okay, so we'll go in a little bit in detail to understand this. Observe. Okay, or just a minute. Right. The first thing you need to be aware whenever you're doing this topic is you need to first find out what is your starting point. What did I say? You need to first find out what is your starting point. The starting point could be your cash book or it could be passbook. A starting point could be cash book or passbook. Okay, here what is my starting point? Starting point, I've written it in here. What is my starting point? Debit balance as per cash book. First observe what is your starting point. That's the first thing. So here what is the starting point, sir? Cash book. What is the significance of this? Is understand this. Now, it is favorable balance as per cash book. That means what is your starting point? Cash book. If cash book is your starting point, what is the other book? Passbook. Passbook you cannot touch. If cash book is your starting point, what you cannot touch? Passbook. Passbook you cannot touch. You can do plus or minus only in cash book, because other book you cannot touch. Is this okay? Whatever is your starting point, you can do plus or minus only in that point. Here your starting point in the first scenario is cash book. So you can either do some reconciliation, is nothing but adding and subtracting certain adjustments. That addition and deletion you can only do in what book here? Cash book. Because your starting point is cash book. Other books remains constant. Because reconciliation means what? From cash book you are trying to arrive at what balance? Passbook balance. From cash book you are trying to arrive at passbook balance. Are we fine? Alright, this is the first observation. Tell me that once again, that is important. What did I say? First identify starting point. Okay. What is the importance or significance of starting point? Whatever is your starting point, only that book you can increase or decrease. The other book, can you touch or it remains constant? It remains constant. Meaning if your cash book is your starting point, can you touch passbook or it remains constant? It remains constant. Plus or minus can only be done in cash book. That's the first one. Okay, online also good with this. Keep saying yes, yes, no for this. I need your complete attention. Offline, online, both. Okay, awesome. All right, first cause of difference. We learned 3 types of differences. No, what are those differences? Timing difference, transaction difference, errors. Those are different. What are those? Somebody asked examples. No, these are the examples of differences. I've called out about 17 examples. Okay, we'll go one by one and understand that first. First difference. Check deposited but not cleared. Okay. What is my starting point, sir? Cash. Okay. We'll go example by example. Observe. There's no need to write. Just only focus. We have anyway 20 problems. Same thing will come. Just complete attention is good enough. Cash book, passbook. Let's say cash book had a balance of 1 lakh. Passbook also had a balance of 1 lakh. So is BRS required or not required? Not required. BRS is only required if the balances does not match. Here is it matching? Yes. Okay. Now let's say Jyotika. Okay. Let's say I'm the business. Let's say A Limited. I have received the check from Jyotika, right? I've received the check from Jyotika for 5,000 rupees. Because I had sold her some goods before and she has made me a payment of how much? 5,000. For her, it is a payment. For me, it is a receipt. Can I say like this? I've received money from her because she is my debtor. I've received money from debtor. Did I receive that money in cash or in check? Check. Okay. So when I receive money from Jyotika, what entry I will pass in my books? In my books, what is the journal entry I will pass? When I receive the check, I'll write bank account debit. How much value? 5,000. To Jyotika account 5,000. Correct? We good? That means cash book balance after you receive this check, is it same or has it increased? Since you debited cash book balance by 5,000, your cash book balance now has become how much? 1,05,000. Okay? Fair enough. Let's say this transaction is in the month of April 2023. She gave me the check in the month of April, but I was busy. I'm conducting class now. Okay? So I deposited this check only in May. I received this check when? April. But I deposited that check in May. Let's say May 15th. Tell me what is my passbook balance on 30th April? On 30th April 2023, is my passbook balance 1 lakh or 1,05,000? 1 lakh. Because see, only if I deposit that check, then money will come into my bank account. Only then my passbook balance will increase. Did I deposit that check in the month of April or I did it in May? May. We're not talking about make a transaction. We're talking only about here in this example, April ka transaction. Are we fine? Okay with everyone? Okay. That means what, sir? Cash book is more than passbook or less than passbook? Cash book is more than passbook. Agreed, everyone? Okay. Keep this example. Let's come back. Now, what is your starting point? In the first scenario, what is your starting point? Cash book. And other one is passbook. Because of check deposited but not cleared, because of this adjustment, what has happened to your cash book? Because of this check that you have received, okay, what has happened to your cash book? Cash book balance has increased. All of you there? We'll go like this only, baby steps only, full dance today, okay? Alright, so cash book, passbook. Because of this transaction, your cash book balance has increased. Did your passbook balance also increase? No, it would increase only if you had deposited the check. Have you deposited in April month or you did not? You did not. That means passbook balance is same. Your starting point is cash book. Can you touch the passbook or that remains constant? That remains constant. So how do you get both of them to the same level now? This is already increased. So what we should do? Bring it down. That means what is the adjustment you need to do? Minus. BRS is just about plus to minus. Sometimes in Tukka also you can get the answer, but I wouldn't suggest that. Don't mug it up. This means plus, that means minus, means you will go nuts on. It's very, very easy concept, but people sometimes mug up scenarios. 17, no sir, I'll mug it up. Not required. Okay, aram se easy only. Everyone understood? Tell me that scenario once again. Once again. So cash book, passbook. You received some check from somebody. From your debtor, you received the check. Because of this, your cash book balance has increased. Just now I proved it to you with example. You passed the journal entry, so your cash book balance has increased. But did you deposit that check or not yet deposit? Not yet deposit. So did your passbook also go up or it is same? It is same. So your starting point is cash book. So that means can you touch passbook or no? No. So how do you reconcile them? Reconciliation means bringing it on the same level. So what do you have to do? Cash book you have to subtract. Only if you subtract, cash book and passbook will come on the same level. That same level activity we call it as a reconciliation. Hence for this adjustment you have to do the minus. Everyone got it? Online? Offline? So she's saying there are 3-4 transactions. Both of them we missed out. Everything we slept. We slept through the whole class of BRs. Okay. But somehow we understood everything. Medical miracle, I tell you. Okay. You, that is your genius. Slept through the whole class but still understood everything. Okay, it's like that scenario. If you're very transaction wise, if there is a difference, you have to do the BRs. Is that okay? And show it. All right. Don't look at it at a total level. It's not a totality activity. It's always done at an individual component level. Also, you need to check. Fine. Anything else? No. Okay. Can I move on to the next one then? Okay. Like this, you tell me, sir. Next scenario. Let's see how well you've got it. Checks issued. Checks issued means you are receiving the check or giving away the check. Giving away the check. Whom will you give away the check to? Will you give it to your debtors or will you give it to creditors? So check issued means it is issued to creditors. Are we okay? Maybe you have purchased some goods and you've issued the check. Alright, but not presented to the bank. You gave the check to somebody. Okay? To your creditor. Did creditor take that check to his bank and did he deposit or not yet deposited? Not yet deposited. That is the scenario. Understood the scenario? Now let's see the implication of this. You had, let's take the same balance. Cash book, passbook. Cash book had balance how much? 1 lakh. Passbook also initially had balance of 1 lakh. Now you gave the check to somebody worth, let's say, 30,000. When you issue the check to somebody, your cash book balance will be same or it will reduce? It will reduce. So that means it became how much? 70,000. Let's say all this transaction is happening in the month of April 2023 only. But did that creditor whom you gave the check for 30,000, did he deposit that check in his bank account or in April or not yet deposited? Not yet deposited. That is the scenario. No? Checks issued but not presented to the bank. Meaning the creditor has not taken the check to the bank. If he has not taken the check to the bank means, will my passbook balance get reduced? See, passbook balance will only get reduced when the money has gone out of my bank. When will the money go out of my bank account? Only when the creditor deposits the check. Has he deposited or not yet? Not yet. That means, has my passbook reduced or it is still 1 lakh? It is still 1 lakh. That's the scenario. Got the scenario now? Okay, we'll come back again. So, cash book, passbook. What is my starting point? Cash. And the other one is passbook. You have issued the check. Because of this particular transaction, your cash book has gone up or has it gone down? So because of this check issued activity, your cash book balance has got reduced. Are we okay? Alright, since your starting point is cash book, can you touch passbook? No. So how do you reconcile them? You have to, reconciliation means getting on the same platform. So how do you reconcile? Add. Alright. So that means the treatment for this transaction is add, plus. That's all. Only plus minus, that's all. Need a minute or move on? Move on. Okay. Awesome. Check directly deposited in bank by customer. Sir, customer means debtor or creditor? Customer. Customer means, our customer means whom we have sold the goods to. So somebody whom we sell the goods to, that only we call it as customer or debtors. Yes. Supplier is our creditors. Customer is used for debtors and supplier is used for creditors. Now check the scenario. Check directly deposited in bank by a customer. Meaning, let's say I have sold goods to one of my customer. Okay. What's your name, the last person? Piyush. I have sold the goods to Piyush worth, let's say, 20,000 rupees. Okay. He told I will pay after 10 days. I told no problem. He's so nice person, he directly went to my bank account and deposited the check. He did not give me the check. What did he do instead? Papa, I'm taking class now. He felt sorry on my behalf and he went to my bank account and deposited the check directly into bank. Without telling me, directly did this activity. That is the scenario they have given. Are you able to correlate that? Check directly deposited in the bank by whom? Customer. Our debtor has directly put check into our bank account. Okay, now check, sir. Cash book, passbook. Alright, the customer has directly put the check into bank account. See, that means what will happen to your passbook now? Cash book, we are not aware because did he tell or he did this activity directly with the bank? He directly deposited money in whose bank account? His bank account or my bank account? My bank account. That means cash book, passbook. What has happened? Because of this transaction, passbook balance has increased. Yes or no? Because he deposited money into my account. So passbook balance has increased. What is my starting point? Cash book. So can I touch passbook or I cannot? I cannot. How do I reconcile now? Cash book also I need to add. So that means the treatment for this transaction is add. Okay. Nobody is by hearting, no? Everybody is understanding it. It's a very, very simple process. Logically, aram se you can derive plus minus. Don't go for by hearting and all. Fourth scenario. What? Piyush, any doubt? No. Piyush is saying, when did I deposit money? Example. If you want to deposit, I'll give my bank account number. I'm bindas that way. Okay. All right. Check the fourth scenario. Income. Example, interest from UTI or interest from your basically some deposit directly received by bank. One income, no? Who has received? Business has received or directly bank has received? Like if you have invested in shares and all, I don't know if you have invested in shares. Okay. No, okay, only a few hands went up, no problem. You know that on shares you get something known as a dividend. Shares, you get something known as dividends. Okay, let's say you purchased Infosys ka shares. Infosys gave 1,000 dividend, 1,000 rupees dividend to you. Will they call you up and say, come to our office, I'll keep cash, 1,000 rupees ready, meet a receptionist, drink coffee, take the money and go? Will it happen like this, or the money will directly be transferred to your bank account? Money will be directly transferred to your bank. That is the scenario over here. Income has been directly received by the bank. Are we aware? Business is aware, or transaction is directly hit bank account? Transaction is directly hit bank account. Is the business aware or not yet aware? They're not yet aware. So cash book, passbook. Say what has happened here. Some income has been received by bank. That means passbook balance has increased. Okay. All right. Okay. So starting point is what? Cash book. So can you touch passbook? No. So how do you reconcile now? Add back cash book also. So the treatment for this is also add. Somebody is saying explain 3 once again. Check directly deposited in a bank by customer. Customer has put money into my bank account directly without telling me. Why? Don't ask me. Scenario. Okay, he has put the money directly into my bank account. Since he has put the money into my bank account, as per passbook, my balance has increased because he has put the money. So bank balance as per passbook has increased. Since I am not aware of it, cash book balance is still same. Since my starting point is cash book, I cannot touch passbook. So to reconcile, I have to add back. Sir, always we need to add or less cash book only. Correct. What is your starting point? Whatever is your starting point, the addition or subtraction can be made only in that starting point. Here the starting point is cash book. So plus or minus will only be done in cash book. So that's the reason identification of starting point is important. Okay. Okay. Cool. Let's next scenario. Expense. Example I've given telephone bills, insurance, etc. etc. I told you electricity bill. Same example I used. Expense directly paid by bank as on what instruction? Standing instruction. Meaning I have told the bank you pay the expense on my behalf, and bank is going on doing that activity. So one expense bank has paid. Tell me, cash book, passbook. What is the implication on what? Because of this, who has paid first of all? Bank. Since bank has paid, so cash book will get affected or passbook? Passbook. Since it's an expense paid, passbook balance has got reduced. Is it okay? My starting point is what? Cash book. So can you touch passbook? No. How do you reconcile? So reduce the cash book as well to reconcile them. Done? Oh, next one. Bank charges levied by the bank. Bank charges levied by the bank means bank is collecting you for some charges. Like if you ask a bank to pay electricity bill, insurance premium, all this activity, they'll do it at free of cost or they will charge some money. Obviously, they will charge some commission from you. That only we are referring it as what here? Bank charges. Is that okay? Who has charged? Bank. Meaning bank, because of this, bank will put money into our account or take away the money? Take away the money because they, for their services, they are charging some, they are doing some charges. Okay, tell me, bank charges has been levied by the bank. Alright, so what has happened? Cash book, passbook. Because of this, passbook balance has got reduced. Okay, so starting point is cash book. Can you touch passbook? No. How do you reconcile? Subtract cash book also. Just now I told you. If you are asking the bank to do all these activities, for that they will Obviously, for that activity, bank will not do it at free of cost. Locker rent levied by the bank. Locker rent is also what, sir? Expense only, no? That means the same adjustment minus. Bank has charged you locker rent, means you have taken some locker facility from bank. For that, they are charging you some money. They will take this money, they will put the money into your bank account or take away. Take away. So cash book, passbook. Because of this, what has happened? Passbook balance has got reduced. And bank, will they tell us and do it, or they'll do it straight away? Straight away. So are we aware? No. That means cash book balance is still same. Since our starting point is cash book, can I touch passbook? No. To reconcile, what I have to do? Subtract again. Once you have given the instruction, charges will be communicated to you. We'll also write in, no, it will be, it may not happen on a timely basis, what I'm saying. On 30th April, bank has given interest to you. Will you pass the entry on 30th April only, or you may be busy that day? Quite busy. You may pass the entry on 2nd May. So because of that, your cash book and passbook may not reconcile. Hence, we are preparing BRS. If you also pass the entry, if you're that proactive and if you're matching, then it's okay. BRS is not required in that case. All right, check here. Wrong debit in cash book. Okay, let's take cash book means what, sir? Bank record or our records? Our records. And our records is which column are we talking about? Cash column, discount column, bank column, what column? Cash book means bank column of the cash book. Okay, let's look at this. So let's see bank account ledger like this, debit, credit. Let's say bank ka balance, opening balance will come on the debit side or credit side? Debit side. Let's say that was 50,000 rupees. Okay, opening balance in the bank account was 50,000 rupees. Assumed. What is the scenario they're saying, sir? Wrong debit in cash book. That means there's an error. Yes. Let's say by mistake, accountant put something on the debit side as a 10,000 rupees. By mistake. He had to put this 10,000 in some other ledger. But by mistake, he posted in which ledger? Bank ka ledger. It's a mistake because they are only clearly saying it is a wrong debit. So he has put 10,000 on the debit side. Tell me, what is bank balance now? Bank balance means cash book or passbook? Cash book. Bank account means as per our records. No? So here that only we refer to as cash book. Can you tell me what is the closing balance of, no, let's assume no other transaction. Only these two transactions. Can you tell me the balance? What is the closing balance? This side is 60. That side also should be 60. To balance, we will write by balance carried down. How much? 60,000. Okay. That means what is the balance of cash book, sir? Cash book is showing 60,000 balance. So far, okay. All right. Let's say passbook balance initially was also how much? 50,000. I was done. Just because you have given wrong debit, even passbook may they should give that. You have done an error. Just because you have done an error, even bank people should do that same error? No. That means what is the balance as per passbook? 50,000. So is it matching? No. Okay, let's come back. Cash book, passbook. Or if you wanted one more way, no? Debit side of your bank account, no, represents receipt side. That's what we wrote in our cash book also. If you remember. Debit side of your bank column represents receipt. Credit side represents payment. If you want to do any testing, what is the journal entry for check received from Mr. A? What is the journal entry for check received from A? Bank account debit to A's account. So when you have to post that entry in bank ledger, what will you write? To A's account. Yes or no? Why are you posting on the debit side? Because it is a receipt. Similarly, when you make the payment to somebody, let's say you paid a rent of 5,000 through bank. A rent of 5,000 paid through bank. What is the journal entry? Rent account debit to bank. In bank ledger, what will be the posting? You will write by rent. Debit side or credit side? Credit side. Why credit side? Because it represents a payment. Are we okay? Done? Alright. So here what have you done? Wrong debit. So if you do wrong debit, cash book, passbook, what has happened? I'm showing you the example now. Tell me. Cash book, passbook. What has happened, sir? You have given a wrong debit in cash book. So because of this, your cash book balance has increased. Because the debit side represents receipt side. No? If you put some extra component on the receipt side, obviously cash book balance will increase. Agreed or not? Fair enough. So cash book balance has unnecessarily got increased due to an error. Has passbook also increased or same? Same. So what is my starting point? Cash book. Can I touch passbook? No. How do I reconcile? Subtract. So that treatment should be minus. Fair enough. So if you give a wrong debit, what will happen? Your cash book balance will increase because the debit side of cash book represents receipt side. Just remember that, you will be able to decode it lots soon. Debit side represents receipt side, credit side of cash book represents payment side. Accordingly, you will be able to decode. Okay, next one. Online also I'm not hearing anything, so going forward. Wrong credit in cash book. Okay, if you have understood the previous one, you should be able to tell me this. Not the answer. Tell me. You have given a wrong credit. Where? Cash book. Sir, credit side of cash book represents receipt side or payment side? Payment side. Okay, if you put some extra components on the payment side, what will happen to your cash book balance? Cash book balance will decrease. All of you agreed? So if you're showing some extra payment, obviously your cash book balance will reduce. Is it a right one or is it a mistake? Mistake. Is the same mistake shown in passbook also? No. That means passbook is still the same. So since your starting point is cash book, passbook can you touch? No. How do you reconcile? Add back. So the treatment for this is add back. Next, 10th scenario. Wrong debit, but where? Passbook. Not in cash book. Wrong debit in passbook. Okay, now visualize. It's always better to link it with cash book and reverse it back. Sir, if there is a debit in cash book means in passbook there will be a credit. Debit here will be credit there. Yes or no? Because of the relationship. So if there is a wrong debit in passbook, it is like what? It is like what? Giving a wrong credit in cash book. Agreed, everyone? If you are giving a wrong debit in passbook, it is like giving a wrong credit in cash book. If you credit side of cash book is what side, sir? Payment side. So if you give a wrong credit, what will happen to your cash book balance? Reduce. But have you given a wrong credit in cash book now, or what have you given? You have given a wrong debit in passbook. Passbook ka debit side represents payment side and passbook ka credit side represents receipt side. Like that way also you can visualize. If you are giving a wrong credit in passbook, meaning payment is shown more or less. Wrong debit means you are giving more payment. If you're giving more payment means where? Cash book or passbook? Passbook. That means your pass here, the implication is on cash book or passbook? Passbook. Passbook balance has gone down. Passbook balance has gone down because you're showing more payments. Mistake only, but because of this mistake, your passbook balance has got reduced. Agreed? Everyone okay? Okay, your starting point is cash book. That means can you touch passbook? No. To reconcile, what we have to do? Bring the cash book also down. So hence the treatment is minus. Next, wrong credit in passbook. I don't know whether you have heard this message. Whenever you deposit money into your bank account, no, you'll get a message like this. 10,000 has been credited to your account. Like that, bank will send a message. Because your debit is bank ka credit. Like that. Okay. So if bank is giving a wrong credit means credit side of passbook represents what? Credit side represents the receipt side. Is this okay? So they have given a wrong credit means they have shown more receipts. If they show more receipts, cash book, passbook. If they are showing receipts more, passbook balance has increased. Mistake only, but due to this mistake, your passbook balance has increased. Your starting point is cash book. So passbook can you touch? No. How do you reconcile? Add back cash book as well. Hence the treatment is plus. Somebody is saying, I didn't understand 10th one. Okay. Wrong debit in passbook. If you are giving a wrong debit in passbook, it is like giving what, sir? It is like giving wrong credit in cash book. Both are same. Because credit in cash book represents debit in passbook. Are we okay? Till you're good? Fatafat race. Okay. So that means a debit side in passbook represents payment side. Do you agree with my statement? Debit side of passbook represents payment side. Yeah. So if you are showing more payments, what will happen? if you are unnecessarily showing more payments, your bank balance will increase or it will reduce. If you are showing more more payments means say plus or minus type. If you're showing more payments, passbook balance will reduce. Okay. And your starting point is cash book now. So that means passbook cannot be touched. To reconcile them, even cash book also you need to reduce like that. Okay. Next, undercasting. Undercasting means showing more or showing less. Casting is total. If they use the term under, it is showing the total on the lesser side. If they say overcasting, showing it on the higher side. So you're doing an undercasting of which side? Debit side of the bank account in cash book. So debit side of the cash book, you are showing more or showing less? Okay, if you want, I can show you this. Cash book here means what, sir? Represents which account? Cash account or bank account? Bank. They're saying which side? Debit side. All right. Let's say opening balance of that bank account is, let's say, 40,000 rupees. Assumption. Okay. You received a check from Mr. R. You have received a check from R for, let's say, 5,000 rupees. What is the journal entry? You have received the check from R. The journal entry is bank account debit to R's account. So when you have to post this entry, it will be what? You'll write it as here to R's account. How much? 5,000 rupees. Are we fine? All right. Keep these numbers in mind. That means what should have been your, let's say there is no other transaction. That means what should be your closing balance as per bank balance? Closing balance should be 45,000. Are we good? All right. Let us say by mistake, what did you do here? Undercasting. Undercasting means showing it less. Let's say by mistake, instead of 5,000, you posted it as 500. By mistake. Instead of 5,000, you posted it as how much? 500. Now tell me, is the balance 45 or what is the balance? 40,500. This is okay. So that means if you do some undercasting on the debit side represents which side, sir, of cash book? Receipt side. And credit side represents payment side. If you do undercasting on the receipt side, then check the balance. What happened? From 45 it became 40,500. So balance increased or it reduced? Reduced. So if you are doing undercasting of the debit side of cash book, then cash book balance will reduce. I've showed it to you with example here. So because of this activity, our cash book balance has unnecessarily got reduced. Okay. Has passbook also same thing happened? No, there's a mistake. So that means passbook is as it is. What is your starting point? Cash book. So passbook can you touch? No. How do you reconcile? Add back. So what is the treatment they've given? Plus. That's all. Done, people? Yes, yes, no, sir. All right. Next scenario. Overcasting the debit side. This you tell me now. Overcasting debit side of which book? Cash book. Which side? Debit side. Debit side of cash book represents which component? Receipts. So you're doing an overcasting. Overcasting means you're showing more receipts or less receipts. If you're showing more receipts, what will happen to your cash book balance? It would have unnecessarily got increased. Passbook has increased or same level? Same level. Starting point is cash book. So can you touch passbook? No. How do you reconcile? Subtract. So for this, it is a minus. Done? Next, more or less you have got it. Next is undercasting the credit side of which book? Cash book. Sir, credit side is which side? Payment side. You're doing undercasting or overcasting? Undercasting. Undercasting means showing the payment more or showing the payment less. So on the cash book side, you're showing less payment means what will happen to your cash book balance? It will increase. If you want, maybe that's also I can prove it off. How much is the opening balance? Let's maybe make it as 50,000. Let's say we made a payment to Q. We issued a check to Q for 10,000 rupees. What is the journal entry? This is your bank account. You have issued a check to Q. What is the journal entry? Q's account debit to bank account. So the posting will be, you'll write it as by Q's account. How much is the value I told? 10,000 rupees. Are we fine? That means what is the closing balance? Let's say no other transaction. That means the closing balance should be 40,000. Agreed? Now what has happened here? Undercasting. Which side? Credit side. So this is your debit, this is your credit. Let's say instead of 10,000, by mistake, you posted it as 1,000. 10, you took it off. Because they're saying undercasting, no? Instead of 10, you showed it as 1. Because of this, now tell me what is the balance. 50 this side, 1,000 this side. That means balances will become 49,000. So if you do undercasting of the credit side of the cash book, what happens to your cash book balance? It will increase. Because credit side is what side, sir? Credit side is the payment side. So if you are showing less payment, means obviously your cash book balance will increase unnecessarily. Passbook also has increased? No. So it is like this only. So how do you reconcile? Starting point is cash book now. To reconcile, we have to subtract. What have they written? Subtract. That's all. Okay. Overcasting the credit side. Overcasting the credit side of which book? Cash book. Credit side of cash book represents payment side. So if you are showing payments less now or more now? If you are showing more payments, what will happen, sir? If you are showing more payment means cash book balance has got unnecessarily reduced. So your starting point is cash book. So passbook can you touch? No. To reconcile, what do we need to do? Add. Hence plus. Okay. Bill receivable collected by the bank. Collected directly by the bank. We'll discuss bills receivable at a later date. So money bank has directly collected. Bill receivable is an asset, no? So on asset you will get some money. So bank on that asset has directly collected the money. Bank has directly collected. So tell me, cash book, passbook. Some money has come into my bank account. So what has happened? The passbook balance has increased. Did bank inform me and collect or happen directly? Happened directly. That means cash book is here only. Passbook has got increased. So yes, everyone agrees. Okay, so that means what is the treatment here? Starting point is cash book now. So how to reconcile? What do we need to do? Add back. Hence the treatment is plus. Okay. Last scenario. Interest on bank overdraft charged. Sir, bank overdraft means loan. When you have taken a bank loan, you have to pay interest to the bank or they will only give a. At least in India, though, if you take loan, you have to pay interest. Other countries, I don't know. In India, it happens. Yes or no? So if you take a loan, means bank will pay you interest or collect interest from you. Collect interest from you. So cash book, passbook. If you have taken a loan, okay, bank will directly take the money from your bank account. Yes. So cash book, passbook. What has happened, sir? Passbook balance has got reduced because bank has taken away some interest on loan component. So passbook balance has got reduced. Bank will tell us, inform us and then take or direct activity? Direct activity. So cash book is still as it is. So how do you reconcile? Minus is. So that is your component. 16th once again tells, bill receivable collected by the bank directly. For now, just understand this. We will discuss bill receivable little later. Some money bank has directly collected. So money bank has directly collected. If money bank has directly collected means passbook balance has increased. We are not aware. So cash book balance is as it is. Hence to reconcile, we add back. That is what I said. All right. Thank you.